Hey everybody, how's it going? Matt with Freestand here. We have two very special guests today. My older sister, Olivia, and her boyfriend, Mike. They're both the co-owners and founders of Lovelight Handmade. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. How you doing?
We're awesome. And where are you guys, for everybody that doesn't know?
We are in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Cool. And what is Lovelight Handmade? How'd you guys get started? And yeah, let's hop right into it.
I feel like I wanted to be like, always had this like dream or this vision or pressure to do that. And it was really just like, I knew I wanted to make something, and it was more just like what made sense to me, and something like artisanal that like didn't take that much machinery, and something that like I was in tune with. I'm always like lighting candles or something to make like my space look nice, and it just seemed like a easy decision that was like in line with kind of what I wanted to make. I knew that I like had an entrepreneurial itch that I needed to scratch, and that's kind of what this was. And honestly, like the first edition was like just find a jar and like just find out a way to like make a candle. And so I started there.
To make the wax first.
Yeah, just like pouring the wax and like setting a wick and seeing if I could just accomplish that. And of course, like it wasn't too difficult. And then I like messed around, like made a little logo on Illustrator, and like I thought I had this like kind of cool. It was cool to just make something, but like I was just like, this is not it. Like it doesn't look like what I want it to look like, but I couldn't like, make that happen. And I think that's where you come in.
Yeah, so I remember being with Mike in his first apartment and just like making like candles in the kitchen there in these little glass jars that he'd ordered off Amazon. And then I think it was really Matt and I's mom's idea to really incorporate the pottery. And she was like, why don't you guys just try to make some vessels? You guys can use my studio. We have a studio at my mom's house. And
I remember when she was like, you guys should try the kiln in the barn. And I'm like, what kiln in the barn?
Yeah, like, Mike had no idea that there was even a studio out there. So we kind of just started to fool around with, like kind of the idea of what we wanted it to look like, the colors, the aesthetic, and the kind of like the sizes. Like if like anyone out there has like our first original candles, they're like so much smaller and different than what we have now. So it's been really cool to see how it's evolved.
Definitely changed over time, but I feel like the initial form of it like honestly came in like a couple hours of just like messing around with putting different like vessel shapes together. I feel like super like rough looking seam like is kind of a just good design decision, because it's like just easier to make. Like that would be something that
for people that don't know, what Mike's referring to is their candles are like very different. One, they're made out of clay and they're kiln fired. There you go, perfect. Okay, I wasn't looking, I was looking down. So yeah, you can see how the seam isn't like exact. It doesn't like join completely together. It overlaps, right? That's what you're talking about, Mike?
Yeah, so it just makes them super easy to make, like
easy and cool. They're different.
Yeah, and
show everybody the half dip too.
So
this is our half dip. So we only dip our candles, and every once in a while, this varies. Sometimes it'll be a little shorter, sometimes it'll be a little longer, but this is a general aesthetic look of our candles.
I think it's important to go back a little bit, Mike. What you were talking about before. You were like, I always had this entrepreneurial kind of itch I had to scratch, and you didn't really know what you wanted to do. I think this is actually like the most important thing for people to like get some advice on, because I feel like a lot of people want to start a business, but they just don't know what to start. And I've always kind of been like that too. And I'm always like, okay, I'm going to search for the perfect idea, and eventually it's going to come to me. And I think it's important for people to know that you shouldn't start on anything, because you're obviously going to commit to that thing and it's going to be a huge part of your life. But you also maybe shouldn't wait around for 10 years writing down in a notebook. And I think sometimes, you know, you can pick something and just know that when you pick that thing, obviously like you need to be really passionate about that thing, but also know that that thing can change. Like that thing always can evolve into something different. Like, you know what I mean? Like you guys, who knows, maybe you stick with candles forever, but
Yeah.
it could change into something else. You guys could be, you know, and tomorrow.
You have really like no idea. Like you kind of have to like step away from the big macro narrative,
Yeah.
like what you're trying to do, and just like make the first step in something that makes sense. And then the second part of that is like just being comfortable falling like kind of flat on your face and looking stupid.
I think the really cool example about you guys is starting a product business is really difficult for like a lot of different reasons. Like handmade has its own difficulties, of course, because you do your production in-house and everything. And then outsourcing production is also difficult, like has tons of problems as well. Nothing's easy, but I think the really cool thing about doing something handmade is you can literally like sit there and just make new stuff all the time. You know what I mean? You're not constrained to coming up with schematics and drawings and working with engineers to alter your product. Like you can actually alter your product with your hands and test it really quickly and see if people like it. Like you guys send me stuff all the time. Like that gigantic sushi boat looking candle thing that you guys sent me the other day. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, tons of different stuff. So I see a lot of people doing this on Instagram and social media. A lot of artists are like, you know, doing lots of different like drawings and telling their drawings, or, you know, doing handmade clothing and stuff like that. And I think that's a really cool space in general. A lot of this stuff can be found on Etsy. But I just think that's like a really cool place for somebody who's creative, who wants to just get something out and you know, start selling something quickly and not go through this long process of getting somebody to manufacture your product in China. So I think it's just important for people to know, you know, handmade is a super lucrative and cool and fast route to starting a business. Go ahead, Mike.
It's definitely like no, it's all good. There's like tons of freedom by just touching every piece of the process, and like there's like a lot of downsides to that, like in terms of scale. But for right now, like I'm working a job, like Liv's going to school. It's right.
Yeah, and that was actually the other thing that I was excited to bring up too. Mike mentioned it already, but Olivia is in school getting her master's, and Mike works a full-time job. And a lot of people think that in order to start a business, like you need to you know, quit your job and just, you know, start and kind of like throw, you know, all your, you know, chips in one direction. And that's just like not true. You know, you can easily work your 9 to 5. And of course, you're not going to be running a Fortune 500 company while having your 9 to 5 job. You know, but you can start, and you can start small. And then eventually, once you start to grow and you're comfortable with making the full jump, you can make the full jump. So you guys are a perfect example of that, you know?
Yeah. Like it's definitely the incubator ideas, like finding out what works on a small local scale is like really, really nice. And, you know, it's starting local, we're able to really interact with people, and you know, we'll stumble and fall, and it makes it really easy to kind of like do right by everybody, like if it takes a while or something like that. Like so it's very we're once we find out like how to handle different situations and what like we'll just gain all these little bits of information so that when we do scale, we can do it more efficiently.
Yeah. Let's talk about like where you guys sell and everything, because I think that's really important. Where you guys sell. So I know you guys do, you know, you're not completely online. You do online, then you also have been doing some farmers markets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to like explain a little bit about all that, that'd be money.
Sure. So we sell online. Our website is run through Shopify, and I don't know if you want me to talk about that at all.
Sure. Yeah. Anything. That's actually really helpful for people.
Yeah. So Shopify is fantastic. It's super user friendly. Like you don't have to be like, for me, I was the one who pretty much like Mike helped a little bit, but I spent a lot of time building the website, and Shopify is like very user friendly. Like you don't have to be a tech wizard to go on there and figure out, you know, how to make your website. And actually I think Matt, you told me to use Shopify. Yeah. You're
I think I
like
did.
best for e-commerce. But like we can do everything through there. We can run our ads. It like does all your tracking. You can ship through there. It's like very seamless and easy. Which I love. But in regards to selling, I think we definitely run into a little bit of challenge selling candles online, especially because, you know, like right now during COVID, we don't really have, like we used to be in the farmer's market that got shut down because of COVID. And at the farmer's market, you know, it's a physical product. So people want to pick it up, look at it, smell it, you know, and that's really what triggers them. It's hard for them to, they may love the way it looks, but they may not like the way it smells, you know? And
Yeah.
there's no way. Like we have scent descriptions, but there's really, it's hard for people to really figure out that's something that they want, I think. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, our like right now, like a big issue for us is like we're getting a ton of clicks on our website, and our buy ratio to click like is not that great. And like that's like versus like at the farmers market, seeing the granted we're local and granted it's a farmers market, people are wanting to buy. Like take all those things away, people like would really react like genuinely to our candles, like feeling them and smelling them, and like you just don't get to do that online.
Yeah, and you guys, they get to interact with you guys.
Yeah,
which is huge. Yeah, you guys are like the ultimate duo.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, it's true. Unbiased. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you said that, Liv. I never really thought about that. I mean, I guess it's kind of like clothes. Like clothes, people, you know, are like, I got to try that on. But I never thought about like the scent piece of it. Because I would think like I can see it, I can, you know, and all that, and that's good. But I didn't think about smell, which is key. What is your favorite thing? You guys might have different favorite things. But like your favorite thing about running the business? Like obviously we talk about like the hard stuff, but like what are some of the good things that you like about it? That's a tough one because I'm sure there's a lot of different things that you like.
Yeah. I would probably say my favorite thing is the creativity aspect, and like us being the people that like the customers come to, you know, like you don't have to worry about them talking to anyone else, like they're talking to you, which I really like. Yeah.
Like you guys are just the face of the business from top to bottom.
Yeah, there's no one else but us. So it's like when you're getting in contact with us, like you're dealing with the owners, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Comes from the heart.
Comes from the heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your favorite.
Hence the name.
Lovelight.
I actually like, I really enjoy just like I've all right, so like I've been saying, or I've said a lot, like how much I love just getting to show up for it versus like starting it. Like, starting it was just like this uncomfortable period of uncertainty, and like now that I know that people like enjoy it and like it's kind of somewhat proven, like just making like just doing the daily tasks to maintain it are like I feel very like privileged because I didn't really put too many cards behind this venture, like in terms of expectation. And then second would be the farm, like getting to see the farmers market was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was huge for you.
Like people like actually lighting up at something.
Yeah, and seeing their reactions like in real time. Yeah, that must be really cool.
I don't think I've ever seen Mike that nervous before for our first farmers market.
Really?
Yeah, he was so nervous.
I was like protected from the rejection up until
yeah. I think that's an important thing too, to bring up is like a lot of people, I feel like they will work on something and like they'll work on it in their basement for like 5 years, and then they'll be like bring it out because they're nervous and right, they're like waiting for it to be like this perfect thing, and then they bring it out, and who knows, like maybe people, like in your case, people like loved it, but you know, the fact that the key is to just get it out of the door quickly so you can figure out whether people like it or not. And you're just
Never
like,
gonna be perfect.
what's that?
It's never going to be perfect.
No, it's never going to be perfect. Exactly. So it's just
Honestly, it's been great trying to like after a farmer's market really focus in on like okay, what did I hear the most? Like what, like some of the things out of people's mouths, like
yeah.
in terms of like what grabs them, what doesn't grab them, with like
And actually listen to your customers. Yeah.
super valuable. Like if you have anything that you could put in front of people and get to see their reaction to it, it's insanely valuable.
I think that's like also a really good point. So obviously the freestand is like really focused on digital small businesses. But what you guys are saying about the, like, obviously like the end customer is a person, right? They like
Yeah.
interacting with that person, getting to see how they interact with your products, I think is super important. So like for people who are scaling, or not scaling, but people who are like want to start an internet brand, like I think that actually what you guys are doing is like really great, because you would never really get to learn unless you did those things in person first.
Mm-hmm.
So like you do those things in person on like a really small scale. You go to a farmer's market, you talk to these people, you see how they react, see what they like, what they don't like, their suggestions. And then I think that'll allow you guys to like really kind of do the same thing online. But you need to, I feel you, you need to see it in person.
Yeah. And I mean, there's definitely ways to do it online. We just haven't quite figured it out yet.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
we'll get there.
like if this is going to be any real thing to support ourselves, like fully, like if I could ever think about like this being my sole thing, it would just have to be that the digital, we would have to find a way to hack that. Like the markets are great, like go get, and just like huge, like in terms of like
huge knowledge gain.
Huge knowledge gain. Like you walk away like with a ton of sales in a really short period of time, and like that's great for now. But once we figure out, like it might be a subscription style.
Yeah.
But once we figure out the knack for that, then I think it's really
well. The first thing is nailing the product, which that is, I think, probably the best way to nail the product is to go there and talk to people in real time. So I think you guys are doing it perfectly. And the rest of that will get figured out. If you guys could touch a little bit on like how you guys make some of the products, and like what they're made out of, I think that would be really cool. Yeah.
You want to talk about soap?
I'll talk about soap.
Also, they make soap, yes,
Yes.
but mainly candles.
Yes, the soap is definitely a scale problem. We've been making super small batches, and for me, like the candles are 90% of my attention. The soap is like this pet project that I'm trying to. I mean, soap's great. People love it. It's just like it's kind of a pain in the ass, and it's
Still in the works.
takes a ton of time. But anyway, that's essentially that just because it's going on your skin, I keep it like the most high quality ingredients possible. So it's mostly extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin coconut oil, and then I am using unrefined shea butter, all from like super ethical vendors. Definitely have to do some due diligence on that front, because you can get like anything on Amazon that's like great.
Definitely.
So I put a little castor oil in for hair. I don't know if this is like
no, this is fine. This is good.
So anyway, that's like they're all like fats. So like you mix them with lye, which is sodium hydroxide, which is actually like what like washes your skin, like what like cleans the dirt off of you, and then the fats are there to make sure that your skin kind of doesn't get burned. So they have this chemical reaction, and you end up with kind of all the oils that they saponify. So that's how you get soap. But that's the cold process way. That's like there's no external heat involved. Like it's all just the chemical reaction.
And Mike, are you a chemist? How did you learn this?
The internet.
Internet.
Honestly, YouTube. Like YouTube for everything.
Yes. That is another really good point. Like if somebody's interested in making a product and they're like, okay, I'm not qualified to make this product. Yes, you are. Like you just need to go learn. And there's pretty much every piece of information at your disposal. You just need to go search for it. So, and then Liv, you want to talk about the candles?
Sure. So, I mean, we basically use a white stoneware and a brown stoneware right now, and we have a little studio here in our apartment, and that is where we hand build, and we do all of our filling there. But we do have a kiln, and that is located not here, which can be pretty frustrating. I mean, there's no way we could have a kiln in our house. But yeah, so we basically hand build everything here, and then we have to transport it to our kiln, fire it, glaze it there, bring it back, and then we fill it here with the wax and fragrance oil.
Okay, I think we about covered it. The last thing I was going to ask you guys was if you had like any recommendations for somebody that wanted to start a business. Could be any business, maybe specifically recommendations on handmade. But yeah, anything that pops into your head.
I would say patience.
Mm.
Be really patient because you never know how your product's going to evolve. And just to be, because when you start out, I mean, some people may be like right out the gate, like selling stuff, but most of the time that's not how it happens. So it is a process, you know, like I think respect the process, have faith in the process, you know, and if you work hard at it and be patient, you know, you might get something really cool.
Absolutely. No, I think that's amazing advice. The other thing is, kind of jumping off what Liv said, is not everybody is killing it. So like I feel like online now, like you see somebody, you see maybe your friend who started something, maybe you see somebody else, and like you just think they're killing it. Maybe they have a lot of followers, something. I don't know. Most people aren't necessarily killing it. And like, I think sometimes online it may like kind of seem like they are. And then you're sitting there going, well, I'm not killing it. What am I doing wrong? Like you're not doing anything wrong. It just takes time. Mike, anything?
I mean, mine would be like go head over heels into failure. Like just do like, and just be super comfortable in that space. And it's just like anything. It's like, it's kind of like a must, like it's just discomfort. So you could build like a tolerance to that by doing not just business things. Start like super small and just kind of work your way up. But on the business side of that, I would say that just make whatever you want to make. If you want to make a business out of it, like aside from the failure part, make sure that your margins on whatever you're doing are there, so that if you're selling one, you get kind of that payback of like, okay, I could sell another one of these and get this again.
Yeah, and kind of gamify it a little bit.
Yeah, totally gamify it. And like, I think also just plan super small. Like it's kind of a cliche, but the small wins thing is just
celebrate your small wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just,
yeah.
I think it's goal setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like people like have this one like grand goal in mind, and then it obviously takes a very long time to get there. You need to give yourself credit as you're going. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's.
And I guess one more thing I will say, because Mike is really, really good at this, and like I'm not that great at this, but it's just talk to people. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to other business owners. Like, I feel like when we started, especially launched our online store, like Mike was reaching out to like everyone,
like every Asbury business,
every person you
just
could
like,
possibly.
we're here, like whatever you guys want, like
yeah, just some advice. Like he got so much great feedback from people.
Absolutely. I think it's amazing how much time you'll save and how much better you'll do if you do ask.
Mhm.
Like, I think the best entrepreneurs are like the people who are the best historians, because like, it's like, okay, why don't I just go ask somebody that just did that for 10 years and not waste 10 years? Like,
it could become like the guy that not wanting to ask for directions, or like,
yeah,
like you don't want to be that guy. Just like ask for directions. Like,
absolutely. All right, guys. Lovelight Handmade. Anything else?
I think that's it.
proud of you,
All right.
Matt. This thing's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I'm happy for you guys. And I will put a bunch of links in so you guys can see their website, see some of their products and more stuff. But I think that's it. So I will talk to you guys later. Adios.
Thanks, Matt. Later,
See
buddy.
ya.